Here we are then for round number 2 at Redlodge, 25th of April in the fine spring summer weather, and our venue for this round is the brilliant Redlodge Circuit. We are just over the Cambridgeshire Suffolk border, not too far from Mildenhall and the famous American Air Base. 1200 metre circuit, 11 turns, quite a technical track and very flat as well, not much elevation, so it's flat and very twisty in places. We have some perfect spring weather here, sunny forecast throughout the day, no rain forecast in the meteorological forecast, about 14 degrees and a light breeze. You would say this is pretty much perfect conditions for racing. Lifts up, we just see how the track really opens up as one rider hits trouble on the warm-up lap there. That was the number 88 going down. Let's try and pick those names up in a few moments. Rider okay, evidently. So the bike down. It doesn't look like it's picked up any damage. So who knows, maybe just losing the front end on cold tyres, must be just a minor slip. Only thing damaged is the rider's pride, you would say. This race brought to you in association with Scion Moto, mail order pick bike parts, operating for over 15 years. And there's a few sponsored riders out in there as well. New bikes arriving in June with the SYK and SYV models, so new ranges of the pit bikes lining up. So the one rider in trouble out at the start appears to be okay, but doesn't look like they managed to get the bike fired up. Last few riders taking their place on the grid. Looks like we're about ready to go, so that fallen rider just pushing the bike off the course at the moment. Everyone else appears to be ready, just lining up on the grid. As we say, of course, this Redlodge circuit really is a tight technical first third of the lap, so good start, absolutely essential just here over the Cambridgeshire-Suffolk border. Very much in a little motorsport part of the UK here. We've got the Mildenhall Stadium and the Mildenhall motocross track just a few miles up the road. Quite a few karting and motorsport venues around here as well, but Redlodge operating for approaching 30 years now. I think it's about 27 in total, and really has developed into quite an impressive circuit here. Like we say, it's got a bit of everything here. It's really technical. The first part of the lap opens up a bit later on. So a couple of straights out there, the straight run and the Simpson straight that brings us back down to the start line that we're looking at here. Last few riders lining up then for the first moto of the day for the Pit Bike Spares mini bike 160 Group B. Round number 2 of the Rich Energy British mini bikes. It looks like the riders are ready. I think there was an issue further down the grid, so we're just holding the start very briefly. This, of course, is the second round of the championship. If you follow this series, you will know that the first round scheduled to take part at Teesside. It was cancelled and run as part of the winter meeting. The government guidelines at the time with regards to the lockdown, it meant that riders could assemble for race meetings, but the issue basically was the camping at the race meetings. Riders not allowed to camp at the venue, which would have meant riders, no matter where the event was held, somebody would have been driving for about 5 hours to compete in the event, which wouldn't have been practical, you would say. So we reassemble here for round number 2, and it looks like that issue on the grid has been sorted out. So visors down, riders ready. We wait for the green flag to drop any moment now. And away we go. Not the best getaway on the insiders, round the outside sweep. Look like Michael Ford got a good start. They charge into the first corner. Gets a bit tight round those out of centre into that second corner, down towards 180. And the 166 of Michael Ford getting a good jump on the outside. William Horner struggling away from the start. One rider left behind at the start further back here, but the rest of the field make their way through. Looks like a clean first third of the lap. Everyone staying out of trouble. But Michael Ford with a great start there. Looks like Nathan Gardner just behind. William Horner, Nathan Smith and Tom White rounding out the early top 5 as they go through into the S's out of the straight run. Down towards Simpson Straight and back to the finish line. Very close start there, some banging and buffing in the midfield, but everyone making their way through safely. The leaders make their way around to complete the first lap, and it is Michael Ford that leads. Gardner second, Smith third, William Horner fourth position, Hayne Bass and Ian Walker, Mike Smallbones, Tom White will pick up ninth place later on, and 10th is Kieran Boyd. 1.2 seconds the gap between first and second place. Down they go into 180 at the slowest part of the track. Then back on the power along the straight run to the back of the circuit now. And this S's corner that really tightens in on itself is the 115, having a look down the inside. Looks like he's made his way through 68. William Horner, a bit further ahead, one rider, a bit further back, running wide, going into the S's, back on Simpson Straight. And here they come back down towards the finish line. Very close midfield battle. Through Paddock Bend and back onto the straight they go again. Still Ford leading from Gardner second. The gap goes up to 1.3 seconds. Still very close in the midfield. As Ian Walker and Mike Smallbones both getting past Hayne Basson, who I think was the rider who got it wrong on the S's last time round, losing a couple of positions. Pretty close on the edge of the top 10 though. We've got Tom White, Simon Wadsworth, James Curtis, Kieran Boyd. All very close indeed. As William Horner there, we just saw him in fourth place having a look, the 115 on the move there. Trouble there further down the field though, that's number 42 in trouble. The race goes on. Seven laps to go in this first moto for the mini bike 160B. Riders charging over the line, still very close on the edge of the top 10. Mike Smallbones and Ian Walker moving through the field. They've got past William Horner. Fourth and fifth place now for those two riders. And there they are, so the 115 must be the 151 on the timing sheets. Walker coming under some pressure now though from Mike Smallbones. Look at the 617, gets a good exit going up to the straight run, but not really the momentum to close going into the S's. This corner, another one like the first corner that really tightens in on itself into a really slow dog left and right corner. Again, Smallbones quick on the exit there, has a look down the inside, going off Simpson straight into Paddock Bend any moment. Mike Smallbones again just keeping Walker under pressure. Still Michael Ford that leads the race, but Nathan Gardner 254 setting the fastest lap of the race, 50.859, and is starting to close up on the race leader. Still the rest of the top 10 charging through, and Smallbones starting to put Walker under some real pressure here. Look at the 617, he's quick on the exit, nice move. Oh, he tried to go down the inside. So it looks like Smallbones getting some good traction out of the corners here. Not quite enough to get a front wheel in on Walker as we go back into the S's. Small mistake there, Walker a little bit squiggly going into the S's and losing a bit of time. This puts Smallbones back onto the attack. Again, quick out of the exit of the corner, not quite enough to get the momentum. Kieran Boyd, incidentally, has set the fastest lap of the race in 10th place, 50.6, so he's trying to close up on the rest of the top 10. Still pretty much as you were between first and second place. The race starting to settle down at the front, but the main action here is with Mike Smallbones. Oh, again, he just tries to look going out towards 180. Walker doing a very good job here of covering those lines, though, making himself very difficult to pass. I'm sure he knows that Smallbones behind him. Further down the field, the tail enders just starting to be closed up on this top 10. There's the 254, Gardner second place. Nathan Smith and Ian Walker not too far behind. The rest of the top 10 making their way through, filtering their way through some of the tail enders. 4 laps to go in this first moto of the day for Mini Bikes 160 Group B, sponsored by Motos. And again, this battle between Smallbones and Walker for fourth place, still pretty close just to round out the rest of the top 10. William Horner 6th, Simon Wadsworth in 7th. Basson still in 8th. Jameson and Boyd rounding out the top 10. Of course, they have got tail enders to consider with now. That looks like Boyd just making his way, trying to make his way through the top 10. Closing up on the 25 now of Hayne Basson. So the man on the move here looks, I think he Boyd is up to 9th place now. Starting to put the pressure on. There goes Wadsworth in 7th place. Closely followed by Horner. And again, it's getting tight there as the riders make their way through the slower traffic. Those slow riders just holding their line, letting the faster riders make their way through. 3 laps to go. Still Michael Ford on the 166 that leads from Nathan Gardner, Nathan Smith, all unchanged, but it's very close on the edge of the top 10 here. Still Walker from Smallbones, 4th and 5th. And we're looking at the battle on the edge of the top 10. Simon Wadsworth, Kieran Boyd, Hein Basson, William Horner, Adam Jameson, all in there, all very close indeed. There is the 140 of James Curtis, who's making his way through the field now up to 11th place, battling with Patterson on the number 200. So Simon Patterson easily identified with the yellow and red leathers. All closing up now on the 68 of William Horner. Lost a couple of positions at the start and now coming under some real pressure on the edge of the top 10. 2 laps to go as Nathan Gardner this time sets the fastest lap, and the gap's gone down to just over 1 second at the front of the field. Still this battle on the edge of the top 10 raging away. Horner there, number 68, doing a great job of holding off Jameson and Curtis as they make their way through now to the penultimate lap. Into the first corner they go, and down the inside. Looks like Jameson's gone through. Curtis right behind him, 2 laps to go. Getting close at the front as Nathan Gardner starts to close up at the front of the field. Still this top 10 battle rages away. Simon Patterson having a look on the exit to the corner as they make their way up towards Simpson Straight. Incredibly close action here, making our way through to the final lap. As round the outside, oh, nice move there for it to come off there for number 200 Patterson, but he's lost out, and it looks like the 154 of Tom White has nipped down the inside. So a brave move there for Patterson, trying to go around the outside of the S's, but left himself open as he retakes the position. Riders now on the last lap of the race. And this looks like the battle for the lead. It looks like Gardner, as we go along the straight run, has got through into the lead. He's been picking away at that lead for pretty much the entire second half of the race. And the green machine of Nathan Gardner looks like he's gone through as they make their way down towards Paddock Bend for the final time. Checkered flag now being readied. Who's it going to be though, Ford or Gardner? Here they come down towards the final few corners. Back markers making their way through. And here they come. And it looks like Gardner's done it. He's going to get through those slower riders. Here they come out of Paddock Bend. Checkered flag goes out, and on the final lap, Nathan Gardner goes through. Michael Ford second. And it looks like Nathan Smith is going to round out the top 3 just ahead of Ian Walker. Stayed ahead of Mike Smallbones for the entire race. Fantastic battle for 4th place there, and look at the 254 of Nathan Gardner. I remember rightly, of course, he had quite a nasty tumble last year, so good to see him looking on good form and taking the victory. He looks pleased with that, and who can blame him? Simon Patterson, Tom White and James Landemore having that great battle further down the field as the rest of the pack start to make their way back towards the final few corners. There's the number 99. Farhad Ladder currently 20th place. Looks like he's going to hold on. So mini bikes, Group B, the Sai Motos race drawing to a close here. Underway shortly with Welcome back to Redlodge, and you join us just in time for the Pit Bike Spares Mini Bike 160 Group B riders in the waiting zone as the last of our Super Minis make their way back to the paddock. We'll pick those up a bit later on for their final, of course. So they're just making their way back to the paddock, and the last few mini bike riders making their way through to the waiting zone. They'll be out on track in just a few moments. This is how they line up for the Mini Bike 160 Group B in association with pitbikeparts.co.uk. Nick Shaw from Kieran Boyd, Michael Ford in 3rd, Simon Wadsworth, Mike Smallbones and Ian Walker. Nathan Smith in 7th from Ian Wareham, Adam Jameson 9th, Simon Patterson 10th from Hein Basson, James Curtis. 13th for Samuel Morrison, Tom White, William Horner, Danny Cohen, James Landemore and Peter Wardworth. And a bit further back, Tommy Champion, Fahad Ladder, David Linsdell, David Bullamont, 23rd from Craig Rowland, Dean Rowland and Kira Williamson rounding out the 26 rider field. And as you've seen throughout the afternoon, such a technical first few corners on this first third of the lap. A good start is absolutely essential. It's a very short start straight into the first corner. They're almost immediately into that first corner, so it's vital the riders get away well when the flag drops. We've seen a few riders overcook it and almost loop the front end out. You'll see the front ends rear up into the air when they're too aggressive on the clutch, and that's one of the worst things that can happen on the start, really, because when that front end's in the air, the bike's not really going anywhere. So it's just a case of trying to get the fine line between too much power and not enough power, and you don't get the traction away. As we saw earlier on, a good start, absolutely essential with so many riders in this race. Thanks, of course, to Pit Bike Parts for all their support in 2021. Pit Bike Parts, of course, a strong supporter of the Rich Energy British Minibike Series, and providing trackside support throughout the 2021 season. And the spares truck always here in attendance in the paddock for Parker for Pit Bike spares. Parker Racing, of course, here as well with the Parker truck on site as well, supporting the series for over 5 years. But thanks, of course, to Pit Bike Parts for all their support in 2021. Continued support of the series. This mini bike sort of world, as it were, really does have its own businesses that help support the riders, support the events. And without their support, of course, it wouldn't be able to run to the level it does. So thanks, of course, to Pit Bike Parts for all their support in 2021. Final moments before the mini bike 160 Group B gets underway. One or two riders at the back just getting themselves sorted out. The green flag goes up. Race about to get underway. Flag drops and away we go. So Michael Ford, Simon Wadsworth in there. Great start there from Michael Ford round the outside of Wadsworth. They charge through into centre for the first time. That really tight right-handed hairpin. So everyone filters through. Looks like another good start into 180. This is where we see the good start being important now, because these riders in the midfield are scrapping for position. The riders at the front can run their own race. Start to pull away. Here they go through the Warren onto the straight run around the back of the circuit. Shout out to James Landemore, who's competing today, number 94. From Tamsin Island, who's the kids are watching their uncle, James Landemore, competing today. We'll have a look at him when they make their way through very soon. 10 laps to go in this Pit Bike Parts mini bike 160 race. We'll have a look at the lead. So it's Michael Ford that leads from Mike Smallbones. Simon Wadsworth drops to third. Adam Jameson had a good start there. He moves up to fourth place. Ian Walker, Kieran Boyd, Simon Patterson, Nathan Smith, and Hein Bass and James Curtis a little bit further behind. Good first lap though, everyone getting through there without that frantic first lap without any issues. As Mike Smallbones starts to put the pressure on, we've got to pick up the number 8 in a few moments as we start to see the battle for the lead, three-way tussle for the lead here. Michael Ford had that great start. He really got away well, round the outside to grab the lead through French corner into centre for the first time. Shout out for James Bullivant out there as well, number 42. Currently in the midfield from Duncan Dampier getting in touch. It's James Bullivant. He was in 22nd place last time round. Back at the front here, we're just looking at Michael Ford coming under some real pressure. The man on the move, Simon Wadsworth, who had a fairly decent start, should be there, number 5. Managed to get past Mike Smallbones. It looks like Smallbones has got back through into third place. Ford continues to lead the way. And number 8 in second, having a look on the inside on the exit of the S's. Back down to the finish they go. Ford leads the way. Nothing at all between first and second place. Third and fourth still very much in there as well. Look out for the 5th place rider. I think that was Adam Jameson going through with Ian Walker. They're not too far behind, so this 160 Group B race Still finely poised as Michael Ford guards that inside line going through into Senna. Number 8 just behind. Through 180 they go. And back out to the faster part of the track now. We've got this off-cambered left-hander. Through the Warren they go. It's Michael Ford, 166, still your race leader. And this S's corner, very difficult to get right now. The riders got to get that exit right more than anything, as we see Ford guarding the inside line. Of course, that's not really going to allow him to pull away, but means he holds on to the lead. This could be a good point to try and take the lead on the exit. It's Smallbones is closed up in third. Wadsworth there too, with 6 laps to go next time round. Rest of the top 10 go through. Jameson Walker, we've got the 609, Kieran Boyd, Simon Patterson, Nathan Smith, Ian Basson and James Curtis rounding out the top 10. Smallbones setting the fastest lap of the race. Look out for the 4th rider in this train. Well, actually, no, he's up through to 3rd now. Mike Smallbones, number 617, starting to put the pressure on the 2 leaders. 4-way tussle for the lead here. Still headed by Michael Ford, who jumped to the front on the very first corner of the race. But at the moment is playing defensive here. He goes down into the S's again, dives to the inside, guards that line, forces everyone else to go wide. And second place just tripping over the back wheel slightly. That might lose a bit of time, allows Smallbones to close up. Mike Smallbones trying to get the exit right here. Michael Ford pulls away on the 166 down towards the final couple of corners now, towards Paddock Bend. Dogleg into the finish line straight. Not much of the Redlodge Circuit is straight, to be honest. It's really twisty, curvy track. You'd only really say the straight run is the true straight on the circuit. It really does flow quite nicely. Starts slow and then gets quicker as the lap goes on. Around they go through the Warren, not much elevation, but that is a gnarly little off camber. Ford still holds on to the lead. Smallbones in 3rd, fastest lap of the race. Oh, as Ford leaves a bit of a gap going into Esses. 2nd place. Tried to get the advantage on the inside. Now this is going to be an important moment here for 3rd place Smallbones, and Wadsworth a bit further behind. They could do battle for 2nd place, and Smallbones has a look round the outside and through to 2nd place. So Mike Smallbones, can he hold on to 2nd? It looks like Wadsworth's gone through to 3rd. 4 laps to go. Any one of these 4 riders could take the victory. So 4th place number 8 tries to square the turn off through Senna, but no, it's held on to 3rd. Jameson with his fastest lap of the race. Whilst all this is going on, of course, Michael Ford continues to lead the way. Looks like Nathan Smith on the treble 5 has dropped out of contention. He was in the top 10. So the race leader, Michael Ford, 166, potentially has a new challenger now in Mike Smallbones. They're starting to close up on some of the back markers. This can add a new dimension to the race. Smallbones looks quick through the S's, really starts to close up. There's, looks like Derva Lane, I think, just letting the leading group through, possibly a lane. I'll pick that up on the lap charts very shortly. The leaders make their way through past the tail enders. There's the 114 of Kira Williamson. It was Dean Rowland, my apologies, 461 in 23rd place, just being lapped by the leader. Kira Williamson just ahead in 22nd place. And it looks like Ford has disposed of the slower riders quite quickly. Managed to get his way through rather promptly. Now has a clear track, and for the first time in pretty much the entire race has got a bit of a gap, and we've got a new rider in 2nd. Simon Wadsworth taking 2nd pretty much on the line last time round. But this is going to be a very important lap for the chasing pack here. For the first time this race, Michael Ford has finally got a gap. Smallbones gets back on the power, trying to catch up with Simon Wadsworth in 2nd place. James Bullivant, the rider we were talking about earlier, has moved up to 21st place, battling with Farhad Ladder and Craig Rowland as the leaders go through with 2 laps to go. 1 second, the gap between Michael Ford, the race leader, and Simon Wadsworth in 2nd. Mike Smallbones still there in 3rd. Time running out. I don't know what's going through Mike Smallbones' head at the moment. Is he going to try and go for the pass for 2nd place, or just tag on to the back of Wadsworth as they both try to close up on the race leader? Of course, it is a bit tricky sometimes, because if they start battling for 2nd place, that could allow the leader to pull away once again. Still finely poised. Michael Ford has led the entire race, of course. There's the 42 of James Bullivant in 21st place. Last rider on the lead lap, just behind Farhad Ladder. about to be lapped by the leaders as they turn through to their final lap. And Wadsworth with his fastest lap of the race, 50.362, starting to close up on Michael Ford, who turns defensive again. He knows they are behind him and parks his bike on the apex as they go through Senna. 1 second covering the top 4 riders. Michael Ford has defended the lead for pretty much the entire race. He's got half a lap to go. This race is still far from over. Any one of 4 riders could take the victory as Wadsworth goes down the inside into the S's. Oh, what a move! He's made it stick. And with half a lap to go, Simon Wadsworth has snatched the lead as they go through the S's for the final time. Michael Ford will be furious with that one to lose the lead so late on. Wadsworth's just got to hang on into the final corner. And with half a lap to go, Simon Wadsworth takes the checkered flag, takes the lead. Within sight of the flag, Ford in second, Smallbones third. What a race to the line that was, and disappointment, I'm sure, for Michael Ford to have held on to the lead for so long. But has to settle for second place. A bit further back, Kieran Boyd, Ian Walker going through. Adam Jameson, Simon Pattison, Ain Basson, and James Curtis, Samuel Morrison a bit further behind. We just caught a glimpse there of the race winner, Simon Wadsworth. Very closely fought race and did extremely well. I tell you what, not many people have made the move going into the S's. You really have got to carry a lot of speed and be brave onto the brakes to snatch that line going into what's a very flowing left-hand corner. But Wadsworth did it and takes the checkered flag. So thrilling Group B race. We move on very shortly, of course, still, of course, in association with Pit Bike Spares. Next race coming up is the 160 Group A. They're taking their places in the waiting zone now and will be out on track. Back to the mini bikes then, and in association with Pit Bike Spares, we welcome the first of our 160 finals. This is Group B that's making its way out onto the circuit for the sighting lap, headed by Andrew Thompson from Mike Smallbones in second, Ian Walker third, Chloe Jones in fourth, Kieran Boyd fifth, and Adam Jameson in sixth position. 7th for Hein Basson, 8th for Simon Pattison, 9th James Curtis, and William Horner rounding out the top 10. Samuel Morrison in 11th, Tom White in 12th. 13th position for Nathan Smith, 14th is James Landemore. Tommy Champion in 15th place from Danny Cohen, Gary Carter 17th, and Peter Wardworth in 18th position. 19th is Craig Rowland, 20th David Linsdell, 21st Farhad Ladder from James Bullivant. Dean Rowland 23rd from Kira Williamson in 24th position, and the last couple of riders on the grid, Ian Wareham in 25th. It does say Dervin Lane in 26th, but he was just here a few moments ago posting the results, helping out the BMB team. I don't think he's in the race, he's walking past the commentary point, so perhaps we'll see him in the vets a bit later on there in a few more races time. Meanwhile, the riders, actually, yeah, speaking of Dervin Lane, he's just walking past here. That's Chloe Jones, you'll see the 189. So she's borrowed the machine, so it looks like he's being a good sport, you would say, sacrificing his position to welcome Chloe Jones. He's here now, actually. Seeing as you're coming in here, Dave, I think we could borrow you for a second, can we? Oh, here he is, he's a good sport. So this is Derva Lane, and just to clarify here, we saw you on the grid graphics there. That's your bike there, isn't it, in the 5th position?
Yeah,
that's,
it is.
Chloe Jones, is that right?
Yeah, she stole my bike today, yeah.
So she had some bike trouble, I presume?
Yeah, she did. She said that she would make it do at least one fast lap this weekend, so I was like, go on then.
That's a bit of bants there.
It's a bit brutal, but I'll give her that.
So I should be seeing you later on in the vets, is that right?
Yeah, I'll be in the vets on that bike.
That's it.
And then I'll be in the 190 hopefully as well on the Mazzano KO.
Oh yeah, that's following right after. So we're there with a busy
back-to-back
racing. Yeah. So here we go with the start of the pit bike racing parts. Pit bike parts final here for the 160s. Good start for Mike Smallbones, it looks like, making their way around the back of the circuit. We were just speculating earlier, Dave, about the course conditions today. It's pretty good conditions in terms of the temperature. What's the track like today so far?
The track's really grippy actually. It's it's my first time at this track, but it's really grippy. It's it's quite a hard track. If you've never ridden it before, quite a lot of hard turns. some very deep braking areas. You see my bike there doing an overtake, looking good.
Oh yeah, that's Chloe Jones on the inside into second place. We're just going through into this technical first part of the track. This, compared to, like, say, for example, Three Sisters, this is the total opposite. It's really slow and technical here, this first part of the lap.
Yeah, it's slow, but it is, it's very technical, sorry, but it's not as slow a track as I thought it was, actually. You gear it quite aggressively, and you can get on the power really quickly. So some of the fast guys, they'll carry a lot of corner speed around here, but you've got to be precise. One corner will screw up a quarter of a lap.
Yeah, I've seen that. A few riders like making a pass almost like 3 corners early. They're building it up, aren't they? It's good for racing, isn't it? So watching Chloe Jones making the way around on Dervalane's machine, who's joined us briefly in the commentary booth here. She's running well. Thompson leads, and she's had a difficult day so far, but she's coming good here in this final race. Starting to put the pressure on the race leader here. She's going down the inside. Oh, close into French corner into Senna. Not giving up though. Oh, again down the inside.
She's a very talented rider, Chloe. Obviously, she's going on to some good things this year, so I'm excited to see her progressing. But it's good to see her back at BMB doing what she's doing. She enjoys being out on the pit bikes.
Yeah, she's running well. I think I'll let you get on in a minute, Alex. I know you're a busy man, aren't you? But thanks for your time, Derby.
No worries.
I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the day.
No worries, all good.
So cheers to Dervalane. We'll see him later on, of course. At the moment, being a spectator, as Chloe Jones using his bike to good effect here, starting to put the pressure on Andrew Thompson. Shout out to James Landemore from the wife and kids from Tamsin Island, number 14 in this race, a bit further down in 13th position. Running well in the midfield with 10 laps to go, but at the front it looks like Chloe Jones has taken the lead. And I'm sure James Howells, I should say, watching this race on the YouTube, will be pleased with this. He's given a few shout outs to the start, and there we go. Let's go. Chloe is the word. Chloe Jones. As Derv was saying, of course, she's had a difficult day so far, but coming good now in this final, getting ahead of Andrew Thompson. Thompson not throwing in the towel in second place, though. Look at this now. There he is, the number 19 with the red leathers. Just staying on the back wheel of Chloe Jones, who has a quick glance over the shoulder just to check the progress. Don't think she's too bothered. She's looking ahead down the track. More of a cursory glance. Of course, that's one of the things with racecraft. Try not to look behind as much as you can. Keep your eye ahead down the track. But I think that was more of just a check for position more than anything, rather than any sort of worry about the chasing riders. Speaking of the chasing riders, that looks like the 59 of Adam Jameson, who's been off the machine at the top of the course. This is by the approach to Esses. Rider okay, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, tumbling down the field. But Jameson appears to be okay. The race goes on. Chloe Jones, 151 on the time screen, borrowing the 189 machine for this final. Gets through into the lead, but this race is not over. Andrew Thompson in second. So we were speaking to Dervalane at the start of the race there, who just explained he's not in this race, of course. He's sacrificed his race for to help Chloe Jones out, and she's certainly repaying that good gesture with a good bit of riding here, taking the lead. Very cruelly said to him there, as he remarked, that she's going to give the bike at least one fast lap today. And she's looking over down the track. She can see there's some tail enders in front. This is what it's all about here. If we look at Chloe Jones out of the corner, she's looking well down the track. There's a bit of racecraft here. So she's aware of the slower rider. Of course, this can be difficult for the leader sometimes, because they're the first rider to come through. Once these riders are lapped by the leader, they'll be aware that faster traffic's coming through, so they'll be more preconditioned, as it were, to chasing riders. That was the 461 of Dean Rowland, I think, has just been lapped. 7 laps to go. There's the 114 of Kira Williamson. Next rider to go a lap down, who is aware of the faster riders coming, moves to the middle of the track, holds her line and lets those leaders go through. So Chloe Jones leading by just over a second. It's still Mike Smallbones in third, Kieran Boyd fourth, Ian Walker, Simon Patterson, James Curtis, Nathan Smith, Samuel Morrison, and should be William Horner. Yes, it is, rounding out the top 10. But still, the closest battle on the track is for the lead here between Chloe Jones, Andrew Thompson in second, and Chloe Jones getting the support on the social media as well. James Howell said, number 1 cousin, I knew you could do it. She's certainly done it so far, but this race still far from over, a long way to go. And I'm sure Chloe Jones knows this as she crosses the line, pulls away slightly from Andrew Thompson. Thompson in second, incidentally, has set the fastest lap of the race just a couple of laps ago, 49.169. Both these riders lapping in the 49-second region and pulling away all the time from Mike Smallbones in third. These two riders setting a good pace here. They're not really battling for position at the moment, but pushing each other on. 5 laps to go. Clear track in front for the time being. And this is just purely turning into a duel now between Chloe Jones and Andrew Thompson for the lead. Smallbones still in third. It's still Kieran Boyd fourth, Ian Walker fifth, Pattison sixth, Curtis seventh, Nathan Smith in eighth place, Samuel Morrison and William Horner running up the top 10. Danny Cohen, Hayne Basson, Gary Carter and James Landemore a bit further behind. A few more riders in the midfield just crossing the line as Chloe Jones goes through. She's pulled away again. It is fine margins here, just by a few tenths. She's gone to a 1 second gap. Thompson still in second place, and at the moment Andrew Thompson not close enough to go for a pass. As Chloe Jones again just glances over just to check the progress of Thompson, closing up on some of the tail enders here. So this race still far from over, and she's getting plenty of love from Nan as well on the YouTube. Everyone watching this at home, thanks for tuning in to this afternoon of mini bike action with Alpha Live here. The Rich Energy British Mini Bikes round number 2 from Redlodge in Suffolk as a rider hits trouble. I think that's up by the, possibly up by the centre corner, I think. I'll try and pick that up on the lap charts. Can't tell who the rider is, but yeah, that's on centre corner. The rider just running to retrieve some parts of motorcycle that are left on the side of the track. Can't tell you who it is, unfortunately, but red leathers on the red Simoto machine. The race goes on, of course, as Chloe Jones picks her way through the tail enders. That's the number 99, Farhad Ladder, currently in 16th place. I think that may well have been the 28 of Roland that goes a lap down. Just try and pick the numbers on that machine, but Chloe Jones now with a clear track in front of her. But however, Andrew Thompson's also got through just behind this race with 2 laps to go next time round. There's the 105 in there as well. A lap down, David Linsdell in the midfield, 2 laps to go. And Andrew Thompson has closed the gap slightly, taking advantage of the traffic to close the gap and put the pressure back on Chloe Jones here with 2 laps to go. That was James Curtis, the rider who went out on Senna corner. So Curtis, 18th position now, and yeah, evidently dropping down the reckoning. So that's the rider who went down on Senna, but it appears the rider perfectly okay. He's sitting on the tyre bar. He's looking a bit dejected at the moment, but he's okay. That's the main thing. We focus our attention, though, back on this battle for the lead. And Andrew Thompson starting to put the pressure now on Chloe Jones with 1.5 laps to go. He's regrouped here and is closing up on Chloe Jones with what will be 1 lap to go now. The last lap board is now being ready. There we go, into the final lap. And Andrew Thompson with the fastest lap of the race. Here we go, 1 more lap to go. He's caught up with Chloe Jones. Can he get past, though? Catching up and passing can be a different thing sometime. Chloe Jones will know he's there, though. She'll be feeling the pressure at the front. Got to try and defend him now on this final lap. Aggressively out of the corner there, guarding that inside line. Here they come into the S's. This is one of the main overtaking opportunities now. This last section down to the final corner. Chloe Jones takes a sweeping line into the corner. She'll be looking to build that exit speed, prevent Thompson from getting through. He'll be looking to get out there as well. They both get out of the corner perfectly. Down to the final corner they go. Thompson with a sweep now. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Here they come. Thompson tries the inside. Oh, that was close. And Chloe Jones takes the checkered flag by just over a 1/10 of a second. Both of those riders were superb on the final lap. And Andrew Thompson getting a good drive out of the S's. And that final corner, really having a go there. And Mike Smallbones in third, 15 seconds adrift, just goes to show the pace of those 2 riders. Kieran Boyd in 4th, Ian Walker 5th, Simon Pattison in 6th place, Nathan Smith goes through in 7th, then it's Samuel Morrison in 8th. But what a good race to the finish that was between Chloe Jones and Andrew Thompson. As you say, it's been a difficult day for Chloe Jones at times, but she's fought back well to take the checkered flag. Horner in 10th position, and James Landemore had a shout out earlier on, of course, from everyone watching at home. He made his way through to 11th place on the final lap ahead of Gary Carter and Danny Cohen. So very entertaining B final there. We move on to the pit bike spares 160 Group A, and they'll be underway in just a moment.